Did y'all get that quiz? Okay, so on this show, we always going to start off with a quiz. And then I was thinking, like, maybe I shouldn't say quiz because that sounds too much like school. Maybe I should say trivia, right? Okay. So thank you everyone for tuning in to Talking Flicks with a Chick, and I'm that chick, Keilani Harrelson. Just so you know a little bit about me, this is a new show that I am starting because of my love for cinema. I love movies. I've been going to the movies every pretty much every opening weekend. My mother would take us since I was little. I remember the first movies I saw in a theater that I could actually remember was Popeye with Robin Williams. Yeah. How many of you? Yeah, I'm that old. I'm that old. Um, but I love the movies so much so that I started making my own. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a new filmmaker. I've always been a writer, always been a writer. So I stepped into the realm of just telling my own stories and making them. And I actually have one of my shorts on this channel. So, when you get time, just check that out. And thank you again just for coming on. And just so you know, Talking Flicks with a Chick, we are going to be posting twice a month. So I'm going to be posting every second and fourth Monday of the month. And the little perk that I have is whenever I go live, that I have people in the chat so we can talk in real time before it gets edited and put up on the platform. So today I have a very special guest, you guys. This is my first time actually meeting him. I remember I was on a horror podcast, Evil Tyrone, and we were talking about this my movie, and we were talking about this other things horror, right? And so I remember Corey, he was in the comments, and I'm like, this is pretty cool, okay. And so I subbed on his channel, and I always see his videos that he make often like in my feed, and I've tuned into a few of them too. And I said I want him on the show because I really need like people who are love movies just as much as I do. So if you feel that that's you, you can always email me at KeilaniHarrelson@gmail.com if you are interested. And I have already have a lot of people lined up. So without further ado, let me introduce tonight's special guest. Again, special guest is Corey. He is the host and podcaster of Wilky's Movies and Music. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about himself. So welcome, Corey. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, Keilani. Thank you so much for having me on. I like I said backstage, and I'm not just saying that. I get flattered anytime somebody wants to, get on and talk to me about these things. So
Right.
I was looking forward to this. This is pretty exciting, especially second show. You kicking off this new series. It's pretty exciting, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, thank you for being a part. So just briefly, just tell my audience like where we can find you and what your show is about.
Sure. So again, my name's Corey with Wilky's Movies and Music. You can find me on YouTube with that, on Instagram, Letterboxd. I'm on there putting things, but it's under Wilky IA.
Oh.
Just of course, I got to make it different, So
Right.
yeah, it couldn't work right for the full Wilky's Movies and Music. Maybe next time I'll come up with a shorter title, for YouTube, but. It was just an outlet for me to be able to talk about things that I really enjoy doing. And so I got a couple different series going on but a lot of my live streams, I call it my movie club, and I'll bring people on. And anymore, it's kind of gotten, and maybe I'll have a different series I'll bring out, but it's gotten a little looser where, talking about, the love of movies, music, if they're collectors, what they get into with that, and kind of wherever it goes from there. But yeah. And I'll have to say, you caught me off guard there at the beginning, and I'm not just saying this, but one of the earliest movies I remember seeing in the theater was Popeye as well. So there you go.
Serious?
I'm being serious. If you probably couldn't see my face backstage, but as soon as you said that, I was like, no way. I was like, That is honestly one of the earliest ones I remember seeing in the
Yes,
theater. So
yes, same. One of the earliest ones I remember
yep,
seeing.
yep,
Yes.
yep. So anyway, that caught me off guard, but I was like,
Oh,
it put a big smile on my face because it's like you don't hear about that movie a lot of the
right.
time.
You don't. You
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. And before we actually get started, I just want to just acknowledge some people in the chat. Um, I know these are. I've been in your. I've been in the bushes of your podcast, and I recognize some of these names. So let me just say hi to Anthony's Horror and More. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Anthony,
This
Cal.
is Cal. How you
Yep.
doing, Cal? And who else we have in here? Oh, same Anthony. We have Chris.
Hey,
Hi,
Chris.
Chris. And let me see. We have Holland Oats.
Hey,
I
Holland.
like that.
I know he's got a great name.
And my mom. Hey,
Hey,
mom.
mom.
Mom's always going to support, I tell
I
you.
love it. I love it.
Okay. All right. So today, basically, you all, what this show is about is whatever topic that I pick. Like tonight is our top 5 Oscar-winning Best Picture movies, right? So, and I picked 5 on purpose because 5, you're gonna have to think and knock some people off the list and see
Right.
who's really deserved to be on your list and all of that good stuff. So I like that aspect of it. So it'll be different topics, and one of the topics, as it relates to the trivia, so we know that Alfred Hitchcock never won an Oscar. And I was kind of baffled about that when I first learned of that because he's one of my favorite directors.
Oh,
He
he's
was
great.
definitely ahead of his time. And I'm surprised that he did not win. But we are going to have an upcoming show with our top 5 Alfred Hitchcock movies, too. So
That'll
stay
be
tuned.
fun. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, as always, our guest always goes first.
Okay.
So I'm very interested in hearing your picks. And again, in the chat, you guys can when we do our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you can also put your 5, your 4, 3, 2, 1 in the chat as well and see whose list that you like. Okay. All right, Corey, go ahead.
Like you said, this was such a hard one to
Mhm.
put out a lot of them. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I can if you're hearing it too. My voice is feeding back a little bit
I
for
don't hear feedback.
okay. I was just hearing just a little bit, and I don't know if it was on my side or not, but sorry, I just didn't want to mess up the show too much.
No,
But
you're good.
all right, I'm going to go into it. Like it was very hard to narrow it down. I'm going to start off the list with Rocky from 1976.
Mm.
So it would have been the 77 Oscars, I would have
Mm-hmm.
believe. I always get that messed up, but I think I put down all the years of the actual movie. So I did Rocky, and you said run through the director John
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Aldenson. Al, I can't say it right.
Okay, that's fine.
Avildsen is probably how you say it, and I mess it up really good. And I was just throwing like a little synopsis together on it. We have Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone. He's a very small time boxer from Philadelphia, kind of down and out, and gets a shot at the world heavyweight championship when the reigning champ Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers, selects him for basically a publicity stunt at the time, to kind of get his name out there and shine the light on him a little bit more. But it's like one of those that against all odds Rocky trains hard to
Mm-hmm.
prove that he's more than a nobody and that he feels he can go the distance with him. So
Okay, so what stood out for you to put Rocky on your list?
well, overall I just think it's a great movie, and the acting in it I think is great. I know this was the big breakout for Sylvester Stallone, but Carl Weathers
Mm-hmm.
is great in it as well. And it's just one of those stories I'm probably a sucker for, the underdog, the down
Yeah.
and out story where, nobody's giving him a break and he's just fighting tooth and nail to just get his chance and take, grab a hold of that chance and make it, go as far as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just some of those stories like that always jump out to me. You just got your classic stories: underdog, working hard, perseverance, and the self belief that you can do something and make something out of your life.
Right. And I like how this was his Sylvester Stallone's. This was his first screenplay. I'm
Right.
like, how can get so lucky? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We all wish, right?
Oh my gosh! Just out the bat, just
Yeah. And I think it's an unbelievable story too, where he was when he was taking it around trying to get something made with that he was adamant it was going to be him playing Rocky. And
yeah.
I guess the story goes that a lot of he had some takers that wanted they wanted to
Hmm.
make a movie with it, but they wanted to use who they thought would fit
Hmm.
Rocky for it, and he was turning down offers. He in real life he was in a similar situation where he wasn't doing really well financially and was kind of
Yeah.
trying to break. So in a sense, I think that even raises the movie up a little bit more, even with me, because his life was mirroring what
Yeah.
kind of happened with this character as well.
Yeah, and that's a lesson for especially like us that's in the film industry. It's like don't give up
Yeah.
on your stances. Like if you want to play that part,
Yeah.
find somebody who will allow you to do that.
Yeah.
It paid off for him, so don't lowball yourself and stick to your guns as to what you want to do and see how your film come about.
Yeah.
And you have some people agreeing with you in the chat saying that Rocky is a good one. My mother loves the Rocky series. That's
Oh,
I
cool.
grew
Cool.
up on Rocky.
Oh,
So
cool. So
yeah,
I'm already on her good side then a little bit. So
right, right.
I love it.
Okay, so Rocky, that's a good one. That's a good one. So my fifth one, I kind of was just like last week, I was going back and forth with another one, which it'll be my honorable mention, but I had to pick A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, okay.
Director Ron Howard, came out in 2001. It is streaming on Prime just for, a small rental fee right now, but it stars Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Ed Harris. Ed is great. He's a great
Mm-hmm.
actor. And Paul Bettany. He played, Charles. And I know people know by now, but Jennifer Connelly and Paul, they're actually married. They're,
Oh,
they're married in real life.
I guess I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, they are. So I'm gonna read the synopsis. Based on a true story, a prominent mathematician, John Forbes Nash Jr., who seemed to be guaranteed a promising future when he won the international claim as a result of his pioneering work in the field. After he is recruited to assist in the military with top secret code breaking duties, the high pressure job takes a toll on him, and he begins to develop a mental illness. Now, when I saw this in the theaters, my mom and I, we saw this back in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we went into it not really knowing a whole lot about the movie. And sometimes I like that, like, so I won't expect too much.
Right.
So my expectations, won't let me down or anything. So,
Right.
so we went in there and I was like, oh, yes, this movie, I love this movie. It had me feeling all the feels.
Oh, yeah.
Um, even though, okay, let's get something straight. We know that a lot of true stories or stories about real people, everything is not 100%, because people were kind of getting on the film because I believe his wife was actually oh, I don't want to get this wrong. I believe she was Asian or something.
Okay.
So, people like, why is Jennifer? So, and then it's like some other nuances, but people stop. It's going to be people, the directors, screenwriters, they take certain liberties,
Sure.
embellish or do something different. So, but I loved how Jennifer, his wife, I love how his wife, John Nash's wife, I loved her love for him because that's what stood out for me mostly in the movie. Because when he was, his mental illness came about, schizophrenia, um, she could have left, and
Yeah.
nobody would have blamed her.
Yep.
Nobody would not have blamed her. The way he was being towards her because of his mental illness. Again, she stood by him. She loved on him, and that I'm a sucker for love.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
I really love that. And spoiler alert, it's been what 23 years almost. So um, I like the little twist. I love a good twist.
Yeah.
I love a good
Yep.
twist, and I love the twist in that the person Charles that we were seeing, we thought that was his friend, but he made him up. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't really there. I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yep.
But
That
yeah, Holland, yes, you need to see A Beautiful Mind. It was great.
that is a great movie. Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
That's why putting
So
together just five of these is so tough.
I know,
Because I'm
right?
sure like every one you read off, I'll be like, yep, that could have been on my list. That could have been on my list.
Yeah, and then like because Russell Crowe, he's a good actor.
Mm,
He's a very good actor, and again, any movie that can make me cry,
yeah.
I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
That's just because I like a good cry. I like a
Yep.
good cry.
Yep.
But yes, A Beautiful Mind was a beautiful movie, and I remember telling my brother like, "You need to go see this."
Yeah.
And when he saw it, he was like, "That was good."
Yeah.
So yeah, A Beautiful Mind. Okay, so what is your number four, Corey?
All right. Number four, we're going to go a little bit older with this one.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Casablanca from
Mm,
1942.
okay.
So it would have been 43 for the Best Picture Oscars. Director is Michael Curtis. I'm going to probably say that wrong. I always mispronounce names, so somebody can get on me in the chat and tell me I don't know how to, say names. But the synopsis, I just have set during World War II. The film follows Rick Blaine, played by Humphrey Bogart, a nightclub owner in Casablanca who must choose between helping his former lover, Lisa, played by Ingrid Bergman, and her husband, a resistance leader, escape the Nazis or put his own safety and happiness first. So it's kind of like he gets um, caught in there. So anyway, sorry, before I go too far.
You're good.
Yeah, got Casablanca for my number four.
Okay, Casablanca.
Yeah.
So again, what drew you to Casablanca? What made you really um like this movie the way you do to put it as your number four?
Yeah. I think this was one that I just recently was introduced to. It's like
Mm,
one of those, iconic ones. I've always heard of it. I always
mm-hmm.
knew some of the lines from the movie. There's some iconic lines, that come from the
Yes, it is.
movie. So I always knew of those, but it was probably in the last like 3 years that I saw it for the first time. And now I've rewatched
Mm.
it. And I actually have some, once in a while at the theater near me, they'll play classic movies, and I got to see it on the big screen.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was a cool experience to be able to go do that. But I think this kind of pulling into your last movie, I can be a sucker for some romance in some movies too, but
Mhm.
I love when there's some other things mixed in there. So,
Yeah, of
so
course.
yeah, but even with A Beautiful Mind, kind of had this a little bit too, where this one there's the great romance. I think first of all, Ingrid Bergman and
Hmm.
Humphrey Bogart play uh how do you say it? Like opposites each other. They
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 did play
they
opposites.
yeah, they work together so well, and there
They
was the
did.
chemistry.
Yes.
So I thought that was great. But then this movie just had like a great blend of there's romance, there's drama, there's intrigue. There's the backdrop of the war there,
Hmm.
some espionage. Like things going on with that. And I think they just had a great combination of those things, and it just, I mean, it still endures. Like I still know people that. Like I said, I went and saw it last year on the big screen. So, it's still, and with a bunch of people sitting in the theater too. So it's still bringing, you know, a
It
lot of old
is.
fans and new fans into it.
Yeah. It is. It's one of those. I love Casablanca as well. I think I saw it like, I want to say about maybe 15, 16, probably longer than that, years ago.
Yeah.
Um, because I love black and white movies, old
Yeah.
movies. Again, I get that from my mom.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at AMC. the channel AMC before
Yeah.
it turned into something else. I used to play like the old classics. And I remember they were talking about like the 100 movies you should see in your lifetime.
Okay.
And like a lot of the movies I've seen, but the ones I did not see, like Casablanca at that time, I rented it from Blockbuster, so that's how long ago that was. Yeah,
Yeah. There you go.
and
Just putting the timestamp on there a little bit. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and it was a great film.
Yeah.
It holds up great.
I believe so too.
It was a great film. It is. If you have not seen, I know some people in the chat saying I have not seen that one.
Yeah.
That is one. That's a classic that should be seen. It's a great movie.
I agree, and it's definitely one. I think that's a great one to introduce somebody to black and white films.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot more, but I think this is a good one where uh, I could see, some people. I used to be one of those people that was like, black and white. I don't know. It seemed,
Mm.
like that was what my parents watched. And and sometimes you like wander away from that. But it's so fun digging into that. There's so many great movies and great stories that
It is.
now I, I don't care. It's just funny how sometimes you have a thing in your mind, and for whatever reason, it took me that long to see Casablanca. But I would say if anybody's hesitating because they're like iffy about black and white films, I would say this is a great one to dip your toe into, to check out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like expand. I like to say expand your movie palette.
Correct. And that's something I would say in the last probably 10 years I've
Yeah,
tried to push more and more. It's easy to fall in this little rut of like, this is what I watch, and
yeah.
there's so many things out there now. Like,
It's
so
so much
yeah.
and so much and well, I'm about to say it's much more than just. And I know you know this, like the big blockbuster. Like I'm a
Yes.
huge because I'm an indie filmmaker, so I
Yeah,
love even before I started. Like I love indie movies, but yes, it's good to expand our palettes.
absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of black and white,
Okay.
my number four is The Artist.
Oh, nice.
The Artist. The Artist came out in 2011 and is directed by Michelle Hazanav. Okay, I spelled this out phonetically. So hold on.
I'd say now you're like me.
Right, it's Michelle Hazanavicius. Hazanavicius. Okay, yeah, he's French. Um, so the movie synopsis is when George, a silent movie superstar, meets Peppy Miller, a dancer, sparks flies between the two. However, after the introduction of talking pictures, their fortunes change, affecting their dynamic. Now, I watched this last night just to see if it still hold that special place in my heart, and it does. Um, I was bawling, crying last night. And because the last time I've seen it was at the it's a theater here in Michigan. It's no longer. It was they showed a lot of independent films, and when I went to that movie theater and I saw that film, you guys, I kid you not, because I have receipts to back it up. After it was over, I said, "This is going to win Best Picture."
There you go.
I said if it does not, something's wrong because it came at a time where um it was different,
Yeah.
and because Hollywood get into this regurgitation, mode where they, remake or do this and that, but to actually look at a talkie
Yeah.
and it being in black and white. Oh my god, I can say a lot about this movie from the acting and Jardin. He deserved the Oscar that he won because he did that. He acted his behind off. He acted his behind off because I love good acting. I love good dialogue, even though it was a silent film per se. Um, the story was great. The screenwriters, they hit it off the park with this one, because we have, again, like the synopsis says, we have George. He's the star, like, of the talkies, right?
Yeah.
And then here come this fish out of water, who wanted to get into the movies or anything, woman. They kind of like, he was married at the time to, oh, what's her name? Is it Penelope and Penelope? I know it's Penelope.
Okay.
But their marriage was like kind of on the dead side, and here's this, young woman, who's, he, like they said, sparks fly, but he does not want to conform to what's taking place, which is change.
Mm.
And like the world is moving, like we're about to start talking. So you either either talk or not be in these movies.
Right.
So he was hell bent against that, and all the while his career is like kind of like taken aback. He goes and he's drinking, he's doing all kind of things. Peppy, she's blowing up.
Yeah.
She's becoming, in the movies, and eventually she's like a leading lady. And George got so, this is what like really got me last night, because he set his apartment on fire. He was going to die in the fire. He was like, what the hell else I have to lose? So
Right.
basically, and the dog, cute dog. I am so not a dog person, but that dog, those terriers are so cute, just like the
Yeah.
dog from Frasier, Eddie.
Yep.
But the dog went and got help, so he did not die. But again, it's a great love story. If you have not seen The Artist, I really suggest that you guys see that. It's one of those movies where it's a good time. You might think it's not, but it's a good time. Um, I really do. And once you watch it, then let me know if you like it or not. Okay.
Well, I just wrote it down because I'll admit I have not seen it before. So I just wrote it down. I wrote your name right next to it. And so
Okay.
now I know I got a homework to do. I gotta report back to you and let you know what I think about it. But
Yes, you
I have not
do.
seen that one yet. But
Oh
I think
gosh.
you sold me there. I gotta go watch it now.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yes, it's great. I'm telling you, it's good. It won Best Picture for a reason.
Right.
Again, it was something that is different. Um, yeah, because I don't want to spoil it too much since you're going to see it. But yeah, all
No, I'm
right.
looking forward to it. Yeah, no, I wrote it right now. I always have, or I always try to have, unless I forget it, I always try to have a pen and pad of paper next to me because I always get some great recommendations from
Yeah.
doing these live streams. So,
All right. So now this portion of the show is called "Did You Know?" It's our little trivia. Did you know?
okay.
Did you know?
Okay.
Okay. Did you know that the first Oscars in 1929 only lasted for 15 minutes?
I did not know that.
15 minutes. And the longest running time of the Oscars to date is 4 hours and 23 minutes. And that was in '02.
I was going to say they go a lot longer than 15 minutes now.
Yes,
That's just the commercial break. The
exactly.
commercial breaks for
So
like
that
15
very
minutes.
first one was only 15 minutes. And now we have like at least three
Oh,
hours
oh yeah. Yep.
at least. Okay, Corey, what is your number three?
All right, looking at number like I said, this was so tough to do this. So, and we could like do this again in like a month, and I'd give you
Right.
probably a completely different
A
list or
different
have
list, right?
the numbers mixed up or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
okay. It's still fun talking about all these. But my number three, I'm going to go with Unforgiven from 1992.
Oh,
That
okay.
one in 93. Director Clint Eastwood, who also starred in it. But for the synopsis, I have retired gunslinger William Money, played by Clint Eastwood, is drawn back into a life of violence when a bounty is placed on two cowboys who disfigured a prostitute. Along with his old partner, played by Morgan Freeman, and a young man, Money sets out for one last job, but it becomes a reckoning of his past deeds. So
Okay.
I grew up with westerns, and so I always have like a little bit of a spot for them. I always go back. They're kind of like a comfort thing. I like going back to them, but like lots of other things too. But this one, I think, took a different. They went a little different with the Western story with this. I think they went darker, grittier, more realistic with the
Mm.
portrayal of it. That I mean, it dealt with a lot of moral themes throughout the movie of it, and there was this drive for redemption, but that there's not always a happy ending in it, and
Right.
there's times where um, no matter how you've turned your life around, some of those ghosts can come back to haunt you, kind of a thing. So, and I thought there was some great acting in this. Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, both great. uh, Gene Hackman is great in there as well,
Mm.
plays a great evil town
Yeah.
sheriff in there.
He's
But
good as a protagonist.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
antagonist. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Gene. Yeah,
he makes a great bad guy
he
in that.
does.
Yep, he goes mean. He starts off where he does you don't know quite where he's at, but you definitely know by the end of the movie. But um, but yeah, I think it just took a different look at westerns, grittier, more violent, but rougher, and didn't romanticize the lifestyle
Hmm.
as much, and showed some real consequences for actions, whether it was past or present, from it.
Okay, now you know what? I can say I have not seen that one
Okay,
because
you're not a
West.
Western fan.
I'm
That's
not.
okay. That's okay.
Some
Not everybody
westerns
is.
I do like, but like I saw like what was that one? True Grit, the remake. I did see
Oh
that
yes.
one.
Yep.
I liked it.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't. I've always heard about it because I mean I know that Clint is a good director. He really is, and I see him, and I like him and Morgan Freeman because they did what Million Dollar Baby. Didn't they do Million Dollar Baby together? Clint was the director.
Yes. Oh.
Uh huh.
Oh man, it's been so long since I've seen
Yeah,
that.
it has been
So
long.
you're testing me. That's where I'm like I'll fail a lot of tests on this. So,
Right. So and you have
but
some people agreeing with you in the chat, say that Unforgiven is a good choice. And I see that Chris said his number three is West Side Story. And I
okay.
know, and my mom said that's her number one. She loves West Side Story. Okay. So my number three is Run, Forrest, Run.
Oh, that's a great movie. That's a great
So my
movie.
number three is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump came out in 1994. I was in high school. And the director was Robert Zemeckis, and it starred Tom Hanks, Robin Penn. Oops, Robin Wright. She dropped the pen. I'm
Oh
sorry,
right.
they did not. Robin Wright and Gary Sinise and a host of other folk. But I really loved Forrest Gump when I first saw it. I was looking forward to seeing it back in '94, and it did not disappoint for me.
Hmm.
Now, some people say that it doesn't really hold up well because because of how Tom Hanks acted and all of that, because not acted his acting, but he was playing. Okay, let me read the synopsis. Let me read the synopsis. Because I was looking up, I was like, "Oh, some people not liking
Not
that in
liking him.
today's standards." Okay, so it says a slow-witted Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks, of course, has never thought of himself as disadvantaged, and thanks to his supportive mother, Sally Fields, he leads anything but a restricted life, whether dominating on the gridiron as a college football star, fighting in Vietnam, or captaining a shrimp boat. Forrest inspires people with his childlike optimism. But the one person Forrest cares about the most may be the most difficult to save: his childhood love and the sweet but troubled Jenny,
Yep.
or Jenny, as
Jen.
he likes to say.
That honestly went through my mind right when
I mean, how
you
can
said
you
Jenny
not?
Normal, but I hear that. I hear that in my head.
Right. But some could say, it was all over the place. I don't think it was. And I've seen, if you guys like well, people that's watching this are movie nerds like us. One of the series that I like on Netflix is the movie that made us. It was something like that. It was what it's called,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they talk about this different movies, how they came about. And I remember them saying that Forrest Gump was it almost didn't come about.
Mm,
Tom Hanks had to put in his own money,
yeah.
so they can finish, and he took a pay cut and everything because he really believed in the script in the movie. So yeah, so Forrest Gump is my number three. And people were saying that, it was a whole debate. I don't know if you heard of this, but the child, some people think that it's Forrest's child. Some people don't think that it's
Oh,
his child at
yeah. Oh,
all.
I know what you're talking. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's like a whole debate.
Yeah.
It's a big debate whether that was Forrest's child or not, played by
Just,
Haley Joel Osment.
yep. Just enjoy the movie. Just
Just
enjoy
enjoy
it.
the
Don't look
movie.
into it too far.
And right. And but yeah, so Forrest Gump was I knew that was going on my list because I remember when it came out on VHS.
Hmm.
I pre-ordered it from Blockbuster and I bought it because I knew it was one of those movies that I will go back to every now and then. I don't watch it on the regular like that, but it is still one of my favorite Oscar movies, and I'm sure it's a lot of people who've seen it. Maybe people who have not seen it, probably the younger generation, but I know a lot of people have seen Forrest Gump, so we can go
Well,
ahead to our number two.
I was just going to say that's a
Yeah,
huge
go
movie,
ahead.
and it's a great one, and it has a great soundtrack to it as well. So, because it just
Yes, it
covers
does from the
so many
different ages.
decades. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, but yeah, that's a great pick.
Thank you. All
All
right.
right. So we're on to me then again.
We are.
Okay. So we're number two.
Yes.
All right. Number two. I had to get some of my action in here, and
Okay.
so and you already were talking about Russell Crowe earlier, so I had to throw in Gladiator from
Mm.
2000. So one in 2001, but directed by Ridley Scott. Just after the betrayal and murder of his family by the new Emperor Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix,
Mhm.
Roman General Maximus, played by Russell Crowe, is forced into slavery and becomes a gladiator. His rise to fame in the arena sets him on a path of revenge against the emperor. So I'm a. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that now Gladiator was one I did not see right away. It took me a few years
Yeah.
to see because I've heard how good it was. But go ahead and let me know why it's your number two.
Oh, I just think this was one that I saw in the theater and was hooked right away. And it was one that it had a great story to it, but a lot of action. But it was a beautiful film. I think Ridley Scott did a great
Mhm.
job with this.
Mhm.
There's some epic shots of Rome and the countrysides and the battle scenes. I just there's a lot of the cinematography is great within this, and some of the battles within the arena. I don't know. I'm always I was a I probably repeat this too much. Like I'm a sucker for that. Like there's a bunch of things that I'm like. So maybe I'm just a sucker for a lot of movies. I don't know, but there's when there's a great story, and man, that hit me hard. Like at the beginning, what happens to him and his family,
Mhm.
and he's sold off as a slave to
Mhm.
basically just die and get him away from the Roman Empire, and just that rise to come back, and just to have that story of the redemption, to come
Yeah.
back, and ultimately, he was going for revenge, um, of what had happened to his family. But yeah, I'd say the great battle sequences, the cinematography in this. I think
Mhm.
Russell
The
Crowe did a great.
sound.
Oh,
Yeah.
sound is
Mhm.
awesome in there.
Mhm.
And just that they wove in this really emotional story within that made it rise above just an action movie in my eyes. So,
And you can't go wrong with I love Joaquin Phoenix.
oh, he did a great job
You
in that too.
cannot go wrong with putting him in your movie. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, he did a great. And I want to highlight somebody's comment because I love fun facts and tidbits. And Chris said he has a fun fact. He said that the Gladiators had the late great Oliver Reed of Hammer Films fame. He died of a heart attack on set.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. That's sad.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Gladiators. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So my number two is Titanic.
Oh yeah.
We know that Titanic is a smidge over 3 hours long, and I saw it in the theaters 3 times.
Nice.
I went first by myself. I would go to movies by myself in a heartbeat.
Oh, I do that
A
still
lot of times
today.
I prefer it, but
I
but
do it all the time. Yep.
yeah. So first time I saw, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is good." And I think I went with my mother, and then the third time I went with my friends. I was like, You guys have to see this movie." And we know that it came out in 1997, directed by James Cameron, and of course, it says a 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with a kind but poor artist aboard the luxurious, ill-fated RMS Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where do I begin with Titanic? Okay, number one, Leo. Hello.
Yeah.
I back then I was a Leonardo DiCaprio fan, not only regarding his talent, but I thought he was very nice looking. Um, so
Didn't hurt things.
it didn't hurt. It didn't
Yeah.
hurt. And Billy Zane, he
Yep.
was great in it. And I think was my first time seeing Kate Winslet, so I'm not sure if that's when we were introduced to her. I don't know if that was her big break, but she was good. And Kathy Bates, of course,
Yes, she was great.
Sing Stiller Bates. And the one thing about Titanic, great love story,
Mm-hmm.
love it. And within the past couple of years, everybody's talking about how Rose did him wrong. Like he could have got on that raft, because somebody actually did a whole presentation on how he could have, gotten on the raft with her, but that wouldn't have been a good ending to it. You
I
have to
know.
have some type of tragedy. We always like to have stuff wrapped up in a nice little bow, but that's not how life is,
Yep.
a
Well,
lot,
and
a lot of times.
and you said you like romance and you like to cry, so you got you got your two favorite things there wrapped
I
up in the movie,
did.
right?
I did.
I love that.
I did. Yeah. So that was mine. So I'm my number two. So this is another did you know?
Did you know?
So did you know actress Beatrice Straight won an Oscar for being in the film for 5 minutes of screen time
I did not know that.
for the movie Network, which I recently saw like a few years ago, as the heartbroken wife of a cheating station president. She won. I said, let me go back because I remember seeing it. I did see it.
Yeah.
So I said, let me go back and I have to look at her performance because her 5 minutes being on screen got her an Oscar. So that says a lot.
Oh wow. And I've never seen that movie either. So
Oh, Network is
I
good.
gotta see. There's a lot of good ones I haven't seen.
Oh, Network
It's
is
amazing. There's so many
good.
movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies.
Well, I'll write
Okay,
that one
it's a
down
lot.
too.
Yes. My mom said America. Oh, never mind, mom. Okay, so dun, 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 number one. What's your number one, Corey?
Well, as of today, and like I said, it could change the next time you and I talk about
Uh-huh.
this. But for right now, I have for number one, I have The Departed from 2006.
That was somebody
2006.
else. That was their somebody else had The Departed as one of theirs as well.
Okay, but yeah, it's one I don't know it. I put it at number one this time. I could flip it around tomorrow, but
Hmm.
yeah, you got director Martin Scorsese. You got for synopsis, an undercover cop, Billy Costigan, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Again, you get Leo again, a
Yes.
little older, but he's
Yeah.
in there still.
Right.
He infiltrates a dangerous mob run by Frank Costello, played by Jack Nicholson. While there's a mole on the police force that keeps on reporting back to Costello. As both sides close in on each other, a tense cat and mouse game ensues. And you also have great performances by
Mhm.
Matt Damon as well in there.
Truth time. I have not seen The Departed.
That's okay.
I haven't. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
never got, just it's just some movies you just never really got around to it, and then
Yeah.
you forget. So I'm not. I might have to put that on my list.
No, it's no, I like I said, I wrote down two that you've well, one that was in your list and one from your did you know that I hadn't seen yet either. So
Yeah,
there's so many movies it's impossible to see them all. But
yeah, and I
you know,
love Scorsese
yeah.
and DiCaprio. They make a good team. I like those team, like you have your Tom Hanks and Spielberg, and you have Scorsese and Leo, and Adam Sandler and all his friends, be in
Yep.
the same movie. So
Yeah. That's funny.
so okay, to the party. Yes, I definitely have to. That's something I want to watch. I'm gonna try to watch that this weekend. The party.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
few other people in there too you'd recognize. I just had to look it up because I was like, I'm gonna blank here, but even like Mark Wahlberg's in there, I believe, and then Martin Sheen is in there on the police
Okay.
force too, and Alec Baldwin, if I could talk. But yeah, it's a really big cast. But um, no, I think this one just hit me. Like you said, Martin Scorsese, I think just does a great job anyway. So I think his direction and storytelling made the movie, but then what
Yes.
took it over the top was there were some pretty intense performances by, uh, we're talking about DiCaprio and Damon and Nicholson, in that they all had pretty intense. Well, everybody. I mean, it's an intense story, but very gritty. Um Story of Boston underground crime, and
Mm-hmm.
very, I think, realistic take on
Mm-hmm.
it as well. It doesn't over romanticize it, but it kind of takes a realistic look at it.
Okay.
And then I just wrote some notes that I really liked, that throughout the whole story you get everything from like loyalty, betrayal, and just exploring those, where does your loyalty lie and how far do you
Mm-hmm.
take it, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Yeah. Yeah, like some people agree with you. Yep. Yep. The Departed. Okay, so my number five, my number one, excuse me. Um, and my mother, she probably know this, but this is one of my favorite movies of all time, not
Yeah.
just Oscar, of all time. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely in my top 10 of all time favorites,
Yeah.
and that is Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah. That's a great. What else can you say? No. Oh, that's a great
Silence
movie.
of the Lambs is
Hmm.
my favorite. It came out in 1991. Like I've seen all of these, of course, in the theaters. So I was a teenager when I saw this, and it's directed by Jonathan Dume. It's a young FBI cadet, Clarice, must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help her catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims. That's Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
So uh, uh, I love psychological thrillers. And Silence of the Lambs did not. So I said, hell yes, Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, Hannibal Lecter, Anthony, he embodied that character.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I didn't know better, I would think that he was Hannibal at one point in his life. Um, and of course, Jodie Foster.
Oh, she does a great job.
Come on, Jodie.
Yeah.
And it was just a great film.
Mm,
You had your I mean, it was some funny moments, some funny bits sprinkled throughout,
yeah.
but you had um somebody said that film changed horror forever. Yeah. And um it was just the acting for me. It was the acting, because again, by both parties, everybody in the film really, but the two main characters.
Yeah.
um oh my god, it's just, and I need to see it again. I've seen it so many times, like so many times. That's one I would never get tired of that movie.
Oh, it's
I
so
would
good.
never get tired of that movie. And of course, there's some quotables,
Oh yeah.
in that movie. It made its way to pop culture, and it's just a great film overall. It's a great film. Um, the suspense of it, the I like the part when at the end when he said, "I'm gonna have an old friend for lunch." I'm like,
Oh yeah. Gets his little one liner in there when he yeah, wasn't
because he
lying.
saw the doctor from the asylum that he was in.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, Silence of the Lambs. That is my number one.
Oh.
So what are a few of your honorable mentions that you would have put on the list? But
Yeah, I can kind of go through them just quick, but well, Forrest Gump was definitely going to be one of them
mhm.
that was there too. You had it on your list. That would be up there. A couple others that would be really high on my list was Hurt Locker. Uh,
Somebody said that Hurt Locker was, I think it's like one of their top three.
yeah,
Yep.
that is so good. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack
Mm,
Nicholson.
mm,
That's that's a great one.
okay.
Uh, Sorry, I won't take too long. I just American Beauty. I thought was
Okay. Somebody said
took that
American
out.
Beauty, and I have that on my in my collection, and it was a good film.
It's interesting.
It's different,
Yep, it definitely is.
Spacey. Yeah, when he was not
Not
blackballed, but
yeah,
he
yep,
was a great actor.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just throw one more out so I
yeah.
don't take too much longer. But this is one that it's hard for me to go back and watch it, but it was a great film and a great but Schindler's List.
Mm,
That's a powerful movie, and so
mhm.
I'd have to honorable mention just because it definitely deserved to win that. And but man, that is I'm so glad I saw it, and I think it's a great movie, and it's definitely worth watching. But that's going to be one that will be hard for me to. It's not a frequent rewatch. Let's say that. So
Yeah, some movies are like that, like
yeah.
the true stories. Like for
Hmm.
me, like Hotel Rwanda
Hmm.
or like Blood Diamond.
Hmm.
While the acting and everything was great, and the story, it's just one that I don't go back to often.
Yeah, you can say it's a
Yeah,
great movie, but not one that you necessarily want to revisit
yeah,
often.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
well, I'm interested to hear
So
some of your honorable
yeah,
mentions.
so my honorable mentions again. I was going back and forth with my number five, Moonlight.
Okay.
Um, it was just for me with Moonlight. It was more of the acting. Everybody in that film acted their butts off. I love Mahershala Ali. Whatever he's in, he's a great actor. What's her name? Janelle Monáe. She's a great actor. And I don't know if you've seen this. It's this series called on Showtime, The Shy. But the little boy that plays Kevin, he was a great kid actor. He's a little older now, but Moonlight is definitely an honorable mention. Another honorable mention that and this one is in my collection as well, and a lot of people didn't agree with it when it won, but I loved it. A Crash, I liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
I like Crash, and I liked Argo.
Argue. I did. That's another. Yeah, that'd be an easy one to
Hmm.
throw on the list as well
Yeah,
too.
yep,
But
I like Argo, and yeah, so those are my honorable mentions.
yeah,
Yeah.
all great movies. That's one thing you can go through that list, and like I said, we could meet in a month, and I'd probably go through and I could do
Right.
another. I could fight for another five that could say that
Right.
are should be up on my top five list. So, but this was fun. This was a great topic to do, and I'm glad you involved me with it because
Thank
it was fun to
you.
go back through and kind of
Mm,
think through them. And like I said, there was a little tough getting down to
yeah.
5 and then ranking them. So
Yeah, so I just want to thank you for again just agreeing to come on. Thank you,
oh,
chat.
thank you.
I know I see you guys over there,
Yeah.
having your conversations, and that's what I love. I love when because I like to do that when I'm in other people's chats too. It's this
Yeah.
a sense of like this community and
Yeah.
just you're talking with other people about subjects that you like. So thank
Absolutely.
you everyone for showing up and
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you, Corey. So again, you guys, this has been Talking Flicks with a Chick, and tonight's topic was our top 5 Oscar-winning Best Picture movies, and just list yours off from 5 to 1 again, Corey.
Oh, 5 to 1. Sorry. But I was like, yeah, I'm listening along with you. And I'm like, wow, I missed my cue. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
take
sorry.
number
I'm just
2.
like,
Okay,
take 2.
okay. So list your 5
Okay.
for your 5 movies
All right.
from 5 to 1 and action.
Yes, 5. 5 is Rocky from 1976, 4 Casablanca from 1942, 3 Unforgiven from 1992, 2 was Gladiator from 2000, and my number 1 was The Departed from
Yep.
2006.
And my number 5 was A Beautiful Mind. 4, The Artist. 3, Forrest Gump. Um, 2, Titanic, and 1, Silence of the Lambs. And if you are watching this, the edited version, which will go up on the 28th, drop down in the comments and let me know what are your top 5 Oscar movies. And then we will come back to you the second Monday in November with a whole new topic, a whole new top 5. And again, thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Yes, thank you.
Chris. He said it was a great stream. Thank you. And you guys are welcome to, whenever, if you can't catch a live or catch the edited version when I go up, just participate. And I'm definitely going to be, if you guys have channels as well, be checking out some of your channels too, because I'm a firm believer in, like, if somebody support me, I give the support right back. Okay.
Yeah. And you never know, you might run across your next favorite channel, right?
That's
That's right.
right. So thank you. Just don't exit out just yet, Corey, but to
Okay.
everybody else, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.